Hello everyone. This is How Big Is Your Universe? Channel. In this second episode, we will talk about theories of everything in Yogacara Buddhism. Why, theories, and not, theory, of everything? Are there many theories instead of just one theory? Yes, when it comes to theory of everything, Yogacara Buddhism is the ultimate megamall of theories of everything. Learned Buddhist scholars always talk about the Dharmas in Buddhism are, in Chinese,
宇宙万法
all the laws covering the entire universe. Unfortunately, very few of them think about these laws from the angle of what science is talking about, theories of everything. Buddhism, especially Yogacara Buddhism, is truly the ultimate megamall of theories of everything. Of all the dharmas, or laws, of Yogacara Buddhism, only 9 of them which are relevant are listed here. Every single one is by itself a theory of everything. These laws are highly structured and organized, and they have very intricate relationship among themselves. This is an extremely simplified version of the relations among the 9 theories of everything in Yogacara Buddhism. More intricate relationships are not shown. For example, the makeups of the 5 aggregates, which is part of 100 dharmas, vary for different conscious beings in the 3 realms. One of the example, it was mentioned, in the last episode, is that the conscious beings in the Arupaloka and Rupaloka do not have the anger factor, which is one of the 49 mental formations. Another example is, 5 out of the 22 Indriyas are directly related to sensations, which is also part of the 5 aggregates. There are many more similar such intricacies simply cannot be shown in just one single diagram. Why are there so many theories of everything? There are 4 main reasons. First, we have to know that current science focuses mainly on the derived phenomena. Scientists today are interested mostly in getting to phenomena, or what is called fruits in Buddhism. In Buddhism, causes is almost everything or play the most critical role. All that we see or experience are what Buddhism calls fruits. To fix the fruits, or phenomena, one has to first fix the causes, which many are hidden, and not the phenomena or fruits. Buddhism thinks about everything from the angle of causes and fruits. The 9 theories of everything describe causes and fruits in different proportions or variations. However, fruits, though arisen from causes, will also become causes as they are conditions. Though, causes are also studied in science, for example in physics, but science today has a lot to catch up in understanding causes. For example, we shall see in later episodes, strings in string theory are actually seeds in Yogacara Buddhism. In string theory, physicists think about particles are made up by strings, but in Yogacara Buddhism, seeds are also called causes. Hence strings are causes and particles should be called fruits. Another example we shall also see later, the 12 Ayatanas, which is the universal hologram in string theory, is also called the realm of causes, where seeds or strings are hidden and arise based on conditions. Second, it has to do with consciousness, and not physics, is the most fundamental. There are many critical implications. All the important laws in the universe have to be consciousness-based. For example, instead of conservation of energy, it has to be conservation of conscious actions. Therefore, there are causation of conscious actions. The 9 theories of everything in Yogacara Buddhism deals with conservation of conscious actions in different ways with different contents. Another implication which we shall see in later episodes, matter, or forms, from an apple down to an atom, which is everything current science studies, do not exist independently from the 6 consciousness of conscious beings. Specifically, the consciousness of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. All matter and forms only exist in relation to these 6 consciousness. One other implication is that as consciousness is most fundamental, it doesn't take instrument to understand reality at its deeper level but through meditation. By the way, according to Yogacara Buddhism, consciousness is not the product of the physical brain. Third, the current science focuses on phenomenology without knowing ontology is more fundamental. It is like someone looking at the surface of the sea and completely ignorant of the undercurrent. These ontological laws are everything, not the phenomena that science studies today. Science today also has a wrong view on epistemology. Science today thinks that, for example, an apple exists independently from conscious beings. But an apple, according to Yogacara Buddhism, does not exist independently from conscious beings. For example, when An sees an apple, it is the activation of seeds of An's eye consciousness of an apple, only then An sees the shape and colors of an apple. If Bob and Charles are with An and they too see the apple, it is also the activation of their seeds of eye consciousness of the apple. Therefore, an apple exists only in 6 ways or 6 dimensions, objects of consciousness of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. There is no such thing as an apple other than these 6 ways or 6 dimensions. We think an apple exists independently because our mind consciousness assemble the other 5 ways or 5 dimensions as one. As a result of the above, current science doesn't understand absence of phenomena. It also doesn't have any theory or mathematical solution about absence of phenomena. Even if those mathematical solutions are found, they are discarded as they don't lead to phenomena. Next, it has to do with the history of the universe. First, please be reminded that each conscious being is an universe as explained in the first episode. Second, in Buddhism, the external common universe shared by infinite number of conscious beings has gone through many cycles of formation and destruction. It is similar to the model proposed by Sir Roger Penrose's conformal cyclic cosmology, where the universe iterates infinite cycles. As the common universe shared by infinite conscious beings has infinite cycles, conscious beings, too, each has infinite cycles. In these infinite cycles of the past, these laws of everything have been found out and taught infinite number of times before. Science, or human civilization today, too has repeated infinite number of times. Therefore, theories of everything in Buddhism are absolutely definitive with absolute truths, which is totally different from what science is searching today. The 4 points above are only a very brief introduction why there are so many theories of everything compared to what science is thinking about a single theory of everything. So, how is the theory of everything in science today compared to theories of everything in Yogacara Buddhism? Physics today without string theory is only working on part of the forms, which is one of the 5 aggregates. As mentioned, matter or form does not exist independently from consciousness. Other than the 5 physical sense organs, there are the 5 objects of the first 5 consciousness as matter or form, which are color, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Please be reminded that there is no such thing as an apple in Buddhism, but sight of an apple, sound of an apple when hit upon, smell of an apple, and so on. Current science conveniently put these into law of emergence, but how these qualia are emergent nobody knows. To Yogacara Buddhism, these qualia are parts of the seeds of consciousness. By the way, Yogacara Buddhism also denies that our sense organs are physical. They only look like physical to us, where our sensations or qualia do not come from these sense organs but, again, from seeds. Physics with string theory is a completely different story. String theory is actually more than physics, or it should be said that string theory is a theory of consciousness. Or rather, string theory has derived the mathematics of Yogacara Buddhism. The first version of string theory is Bosonic string theory. Bosonic string theory only works in 26 dimensions, -4 space-time. There are 22 extra dimensions, which are what is called the 22 Indriyas. Later versions called superstrings reduce the extra dimensions down to 6. These are the 6 consciousness. Strings are said to vibrate in 6 extra dimensions. These strings are seeds of first 6 consciousness. But these superstrings come in 5 variations. These are the 5 fruits. M-theory was later discovered to unify the 5 versions, but it requires 1 more extra dimensions. M-theory in Yogacara Buddhism is 8th consciousness, which among its many function is a warehouse of seeds. There is another not so popular version called F-theory, and yet it requires another extra dimensions. In Yogacara Buddhism, it is called the 7th consciousness. So in string theory, there are a total of 8 extra dimensions, which matches exactly the 8 consciousness in Yogacara Buddhism. We shall analyze in later episodes these mathematical conjectures in string theory and their relations to the laws in Yogacara Buddhism. Every time when there is a new unification, a complete paradigm shift is required. Physicists didn't have too much troubles in dealing with the previous ones. But the previous unifications, even considering general relativity and quantum mechanics, are relatively small steps. Both mysteries and new Lego blocks brought about by string theory are unprecedented in the history of science: extra dimensions, strings, branes, dualities, universal hologram, parallel universes, Calabi-Yau manifold, etc. Yet string theorists, being physicists, are still thinking about general relativity and quantum mechanics. In fact, after unification with string theory, there is no more general relativity and quantum mechanics but only 5 fruits or 5 versions of superstrings. In Einstein's general relativity, gravity is not just a force but warping of space-time. In string theory, gravity is more than a force and warping of space-time. As we shall see in later episodes, gravity is about fruits of existence in the 3 realms. In addition to the many mysteries and new Lego blocks mentioned, there are many different mathematical conjectures in string theory which are ill understood. For example, although there are a total of 8 extra dimensions, normally 7 are mentioned with the extra dimension of F-theory being left out. Therefore, the layman mostly heard about 11 dimensions, which is 7 plus 4 space-time dimension. The reason is the extra dimension of F-theory seems to be redundant. In Yogacara Buddhism, the extra dimension in F-theory, which is 7th consciousness, is also redundant but at the same time is also the most critical part of the 8 consciousness, which we shall learn in later episodes. All 8 extra dimensions are very different in the way that all 8 consciousness are very different. David Gross, a leading string theorist who discovered one of the 5 versions of superstring, said, "You can't put string theory on a t-shirt because we don't know what the equations are. We don't know the organizing principle." There is a very ill-understood M-theory generalization. String theory is not a theory but a framework. Clifford Johnson treats string theory as a bunch of toolboxes. Sometimes one tool is used and other time another tool is used. They do not know every single conjectures as in the diagram are critical parts of reality and each play a critical role just like different chips on a computer motherboard. We shall cover this diagram gradually in later episodes. Many great thinkers, philosophers, and physicists included, are now talking about consciousness and some are trying to build a theory of consciousness. It can be said that the race to search for an ultimate theory of consciousness has started. In the next episode, we will talk about the definitive theory of consciousness, which are the laws of Yogacara Buddhism. Consciousness is not what we think it is from the brains, and it is a lot more deeper what we can image using existing mindset. And it has to be a lot deeper than physics to be fundamental of reality.